Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Taco Tuesday to everybody out there. My name's CJ, and in today's video, we're going to definitely be checking out some NBA player props over on PrizePicks. We'll be looking at points, rebounds, and assists, fantasy score, and three-point makes. All the different ways to play over on PrizePicks. If you don't play on PrizePicks yet, go ahead, get signed up now. Use promo code Curry, 100% instant deposit match on your first deposit, all the way up to $100. That's a dollar for dollar price match for every dollar you put in. So if you put in 20, they're going to match it, giving you 20. You'll have $40 to get yourself going, making your first entry on PrizePicks completely risk-free and on the house. Link down in the description below to get started on Prize Picks today. Now, you can also get started with joining a Patreon community. You hear me talk about it every time I go live here. You hear us talk about Discord. We're just a group of folks in there who are passionate about player props, who are passionate about Prize Picks. So if you're looking for a community, if you're looking to continue the conversation, what we talk about here on YouTube with a group of other like-minded individuals, the first of the month is the best time to join Patreon. Link down in the description below. Yesterday's picks went 4 out of 5. Pretty nice night. 80% hit rate on the 5 picks that I posted to Patreon. The one that fell short was Jusuf Nurkic, first half fantasy points. He missed his prop by 0.3 fantasy points. He came up just short. I took the over, and he did not get it done. Otherwise, it would have been a 5 for 5, a 10x payout type of night. But that's all right. Still profited with 4 out of 5 picks right. And we'll look to run it back and start the month of February off on a good foot. So thanks to everybody who's joining me this morning. I see the chat is on and popping. It's definitely Taco Tuesday, meaning if you've never heard of Taco Tuesday before, PrizePicks will put some player props up at a discounted rate. That means we'll get some pretty good deals, 15, 20% off on some of these different player props. So I'll kind of want to spend some time talking about that maybe. Maybe we could strategize because, you know, with this new taco bar format that PrizePicks does, basically if you're in the official PrizePicks Discord, they give you an opportunity as a community member to vote on your favorite player and your favorite prop, and you get to build your own taco, meaning you get to choose who you want to be discounted, which player, which prop from that player that you want discounted. So maybe we could strategize and talk a little bit about that as well, so that we go in with the best voting power, the best voting decision possible. Maybe we'll get into that as well. So, yeah, I just appreciate everybody for the continued support. We're well over 4,300 subscribers, on our way to 4,400, getting there little by little. So thanks again for everybody who's subscribed, who has notifications turned on so that you're alerted and you don't miss any of these live streams, and everybody who continues to hit that thumbs up, that like button. Listen, it sounds like a trivial thing. It sounds like a little thing, but hitting the like button or even the dislike button. For you dislikers out there, I usually get 1 to 2 haters every single day. For those of you that hit the dislike button, I appreciate you too, believe it or not, because all engagement is good engagement. In fact, for you haters out there, it would actually be more of a hateful thing for you to not hit a thumbs up or a thumbs down. The way that the YouTube algorithms work. So keep hitting the thumbs up for me. I appreciate all the interaction. I appreciate all the engagement, and we're going to keep this thing rolling, keep going. So we're on our way to 4,400 subscribers. We've been hitting 100 to 200 likes on every single one of these live streams, which tells me that you guys are really liking the format of the show. You like what I'm doing here for you. So appreciate all the continued support. Now, with all that out of the way, let's take a look at some of the comments and say some shout outs to some of you people out there. We got Delvin in the building. Good morning. Let's get this cash today. Awesome picks yesterday, but like always, there's always some duds. Yeah, that man Jusuf Nurkic, he was the guy yesterday that got into us, right? High Flyer 89 says, yo, happy Taco Tuesday. Hope you have a great day, big dog. Listen, I appreciate that, man. The positive comments and the positive energy will take this stream further than the negativity will. So appreciate the kind words that High Flyer 89's leaving this morning. Good morning to you, Essam. Good to see you. Gib is in the building. Good morning to you. Let's get this money. Escar Hernandez says good morning to CJ. Good morning to you as well. Chill Robots, Curry Crew. Good luck today, CJ, and the chat. Appreciate that. Desmond says, let's get it, CJ. 2022 gambling goal was to be in the green 9 out of 12 months. 1 for 1. Love it. Great start, man, and a great goal, Desmond. Mark H says, happy Taco Tuesday. Smash the like button. Appreciate you reminding everybody in the live stream to hit the like button, Mark. Appreciate that. Pick 3 Lover says, another day, another dollar. Happy betting. Travis says, what's up? What's up back to you? Carlos, good morning. Aaron Rodgers here again. He's here every single morning. Appreciate the support, Aaron, my man. Anthony, a.k.a. Tony Ruiz, good morning to you. It's Taco Tuesday. Boom. Thank you for blessing us with those picks yesterday. Awesome to you as well. Suthi Kai YouTube says, we ready? All right, I'm ready too. Chris Smith, good morning to you. Everyday Fantasy says, good morning, everybody. Hit the talk, not the flop. Love it. Hit the taco. King United CSGO got me back to the winning ways. Now time for some Taco Tuesday. Ooh, just in time, right? Can't wait to get some of these delicious, crispy, crunchy tacos into our bellies. Into our bellies. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is mentioning Wendell Carter at 13.5 points against Chicago. If you follow me on Twitter, at Curry the Creator, you probably saw a couple of tweets that I put out there last night. I dropped that bit of info in Discord first, but the one that really stood out to me is Wendell Carter Jr. versus his former team, the Chicago Bulls. Listen, could be something, maybe it's nothing, but Wendell Carter Jr. against the Chicago Bulls, his former team, the team that drafted him and then turned around and traded him, disrespectfully traded him for Nikola Vucevic. Listen, Wendell Carter Jr. gets up to play for the Bulls. It's not me saying that. It's not a narrative. The numbers speak for themselves. His scoring averages over 21 points per game in 4 career games as a member of the Magic against the Bulls. We'll talk about that in a little bit, though. But yes, follow me on Twitter if you don't yet. That Hunt Boy 92. Good morning, CJ the GOAT. Let's get it. Appreciate that. Zach says, time to get this bag. Yes, agree with you there, my friend. Pepperdemic says, good morning and good luck today. Let's cash. I'm all for the cash, for sure. Mac B's in the building. Run my boys, likes up. Taco Tuesday, Patreon and Discord family. Let's eat. Yes, we will do our best to feast on the Taco Tuesdays. Kyle, what's happening to you? Let's get it. Matt Clark, good to see you. David's in the building. Don Smith says, good morning. Get back in the lab. Let's get this bread, G. For show. David says, the Fournier threes ended up hitting. Yes, Fournier's threes ended up hitting. His points, rebounds, and assists ended up hitting. I saw a lot of winning entries with the PRA for Fournier. So hopefully you guys cashed in on some Evan Fournier. David says, why am I not hearing that dope ass beat? I don't know. Kings ABB1. Kings Abbey. CJ morning. CJ, good morning, brother. I smell tacos and cash. Whew, what a combination, huh? Tacos and cash. I love both. King Chris, good to see you. Member of our Patreon and Discord group. Adam's in the building. Who else we got in here? Who else? Dylan, Taco Tuesday. Let's get it. That stud, Killer Cam. Love it. Bane, the 2.5 assists, killed my 4 out of 4. Oh, yeah, Desmond Bane did not get there. I think they actually took an assist away from Desmond Bane from what I remember hearing last night. Jacob's in the building. What's up, CJ and Discord fam? Taco Tuesday. Let's get this bread. Mikey Mars, it's Taco Tuesday. Bo Man says, unders on the Bucks versus Wizards. All right. Nick, good morning to you. Love to see it. Ray, we back on Gary Trent Jr. today? Maybe we are. He's been pretty hot, right? He's kind of taken over Fred VanVleet's role as being that hot-handed guard for the Toronto Raptors. So maybe we're back on some Gary Trent Jr. Antoine, what's happening, my brother? Nick, what's going on with you? Joe Harrington's back in the building. Former Detroit Lion and Oregon quarterback Joey Harrington is joining us live. McNasty just joined Patreon this morning. Let's see what you got. Well, you're going to see what I have. You're going to see what the rest of the community has. It's not just about me. We got a lot of great community members who are into other sports, some MMA, some CSGO. We do a little bit of everything. My main focus is NBA, but listen, I can't get them all, myself. Oh, you could definitely still see the dislikes, Anthony. You could definitely still see the dislikes from a content side of things. Maybe you can't see them, but I see them. David says, with a super chat, by the way, David says, I got 2 Patreon members for the month, CJ. Select them however you see fit. Well, David, I still owe you one. Remember, you gave me one last month. So you're saying you got 2 this month. So we got a total of 3, I guess. And then there was somebody else who wanted to bring another member into the Patreon community. We'll select 4 random members, it sounds like. 4 random people to win a free month of Patreon. Appreciate you guys supporting the community by sponsoring new members to join the Patreon community. Love that. Nick Foles is in the building. I love what you do for me. Love that, man. I love that. All right. Good morning to everybody. There's so many of you in here, man. I just can't get to everyone. Edgar, if you can afford to join the Patreon, then, you can do it. I'm not twisting anybody's arm. I'm not promising anything. I'm not here to sell you on anything. Like I said, plainest terms possible. We're just a community of people who are trying to win on PrizePicks every single night. We do NBA, we do some CSGO. We're just putting our heads together. We're trying to land on winning picks and plays. I don't have anything that's going to change your life, change the world, or anything like that. No cure for cancer, no cure for AIDS, no crystal balls, no secret keys to unlock all the wins every single night. I don't have any of that, all right? All I'm offering is a community, a way for us to continue the conversation and the work that we do here on YouTube every single morning, all right? That's what I got for you. That's what I got for you. So if you want to be a part of a community, a family, that's what I'm offering. All right. Now, with all of that out of the way, the hellos, the announcements, the news, the information, let's get down to business, folks. 7 NBA games tonight. It's Taco Tuesday. We need to find some winning picks, some winning plays to partner up with our tacos, right? For me, I always approach Taco Tuesday. I'm looking for one solid pick to put with my taco. I want a good side item with my taco. Something that's going to lead me to some cash. And I usually do a 2-pick power play with my tacos. I don't like throwing my tacos in there with a 5-pick. You could. There's some good strategy, I guess, behind that. Maybe your 5-pick then turns into basically a 4-pick. But for me, I like trying to take more of the safer guaranteed money. So I'll be pairing my Taco Tuesday up with hopefully a solid pick to go along with it. So let's see if we can find some of those today. Game information and starting lineups here provided by Numberfire. We got the New Orleans Pelicans at the Detroit Pistons, 7 p.m. tip-off time, 214.5 points with a 2-point spread. Checking out the injury news, we've got to keep an eye on Brandon Ingram. He is a game-time decision. Jonas Valanciunas did end up playing against Cleveland last night, so he is expected to play again today. Over on the Detroit side, It says that Jeremy Grant's going to be playing today, guys. We might see Jeremy Grant back in the lineup for the Detroit Pistons. He was having a pretty good season prior to his injury, so keep an eye on that. Let's just make sure that we're sure that Jeremy Grant will be in there for Detroit tonight. But decent total at 214.5 with a 2-point spread. 7:30 p.m. the Washington Wizards at the Milwaukee Bucks, 227 implied points with an 11-point spread. Blowout alert, blowout alert. Huge blowout potential here. Nothing real impactful in terms of injury news from the Milwaukee side, but the big one for Washington is no Bradley Beal. So you've probably seen it floating around Twitter at this point. You probably heard it in whatever Discord group you're in, but Spencer Dinwiddie this season without Bradley Beal in the lineup, 9 for 9 in covering 16.5 points. He was at 16.5. PrizePicks bumped him down to 15.5. Don't know why they did that. I don't know if they were receiving some action on the under or what have you. But yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie, though, a little bit of a red flag. Sounds like his teammates don't like him. They don't want him on the team anymore. Sounds like Spencer Dinwiddie's about to find his way out of Washington and on another team. So you got that going on. You got a tough matchup against Drew Holiday. So I don't know, man. The point prop, 9 for 9, though. It's hard to argue against a prop that has hit 9 out of 9 times this season, right? But there's definitely some cases to be made of why Spencer Dinwiddie could fail tonight. 8 p.m. Orlando Magic, you know that's my squad, versus the Chicago Bulls. We already talked about it. Wendell Carter Jr. versus the Bulls. He's in a good spot. He always seems to get up for those rematches against his former team, the Bulls. 222.5 points with a 9-point spread in favor of Chicago. For the Orlando Magic, it's pretty much the same cast of characters who have been out for Orlando this season. For the Chicago Bulls, no Lonzo Ball, no Alex Caruso, nothing really different there over the past few days. Those guys have been out for Chicago and will be out again tonight. So like the total there, but the spread is a little bit concerning. 8 p.m., Denver Nuggets at the Minnesota Timberwolves, 230.5 points with a 4.5-point spread. Minnesota 4.5-point favorites at home here versus this Denver Nuggets team. Love the total on this game. 230.5 points, sky high total. Could be a good game for us to take some overs, but before we go locking anything in, there's a lot of pending news here. A lot of pending news. Nikola Jokic, the big man for the Denver Nuggets. He is a game time decision right now, so definitely keep an eye out on him. For the Minnesota side of things, D'Angelo Russell is a game time decision, as is Patrick Beverley, Okogie, and Bolmaro. So lots of injury news here for both of these teams that could really shake things up. For me, it's a wait and see approach on this game, but I do love so far what I'm seeing in terms of the total and the spread from this one. 8:30 p.m. brings us the Golden State Warriors at the San Antonio Spurs. 225 implied point total. That's a nice number with a 2.5-point spread for Golden State. That's also a nice spread. Hopefully this game stays close and competitive. For the Golden State side, game time decisions for both Porter and Bjelica. Out is Wiseman, Green, Iguodala, and Thompson. So no Klay Thompson tonight, meaning Moses Moody will likely slot in at the shooting guard spot. So it could be one of those Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins carrying the load type of games. And speaking of carrying the load, Steph Curry went absolutely nuts last night in the fourth quarter against the Houston Rockets. It looked like vintage Steph Curry. He'd been a little up and down over the past few games. But last night, we got the best of Steph Curry. Great game for him. So, yeah, great total here, 225 points with a 2.5-point spread. And then finally, we get a couple of these later games. Brooklyn Nets at the Phoenix Suns, 229 points, 5.5-point spread. Lots of red, meaning lots of guys already ruled out from this game. The biggest one to keep an eye out on is going to be James Harden. He's dealing with some sort of hand injury, is a game time decision right now. Of course, Kevin Durant already ruled out. No LaMarcus Aldridge either. So it could be the Kyrie Irving show once again if James Harden is ruled out. Got to wait and see on that injury news before locking anything into your entries on PrizePicks. Over on the Phoenix side, got to keep an eye on DeAndre Ayton. It says he's ruled out. I don't know if he's really ruled out or not. Jay Crowder also ruled out. Those are probably the two most impactful ones, though. So we'll have to see what's going on with that game. And then this one, I don't know why it got left out, but it's a 7:30 tip-off time, Eastern time, that is. Miami at Toronto, 210.5 points. We've got the likes of Jimmy Butler, Yurtseven, Lowry, and Tucker, all game-time decisions. Those are some pretty big names, pretty impactful names. And then over on the Toronto side, Dragic, Johnson, and Birch already ruled out. So decent total at 210.5, kind of on the low side, but the spread being 2, maybe it's one that we can actually target. All right. That's it, man. That's all of the games right there for you. Yeah, we got to wait and see on Jokic, Carlos. We don't know if Jokic is in or out tonight. Iman's already talking about some under on Spencer Dinwiddie, PRA. That could be a move. It could be a move. What else are you guys liking here? You can only play the taco once, right? Well, the taco, you can play more than once, but it does have a limit, basically, a dollar amount that you can play. I think it's usually like $20 to $25, something like that. $20 to $25, I think, is about the most they typically allow on a taco play. So, yeah, there you go. So let's take a look, and we'll start things off like we typically do with some points props, looking at some guys over the last 10 games who have been hitting or covering their points props at a pretty high clip. The first one on the board that's standing out is going to be Chris Middleton of the Milwaukee Bucks. He's going up against the Washington Wizards tonight. Over the last 10 games for Chris Middleton, he's covered 19.5 points in 7 out of 10 games. Over the last 5 games, a 60% hit rate while averaging 20 points per game. Now, he's coming off of a down game. And you know me, I like going back to a prop when it flops. And this was definitely a flop type of game. Chris Middleton, just 9 points versus the Denver Nuggets. You have to think, you have to imagine that he will get right against a pretty decent matchup here, Washington Wizards. So let's go ahead and take a look at this matchup on paper. We're going to look at the last 7 games, small forward position, which is where Chris Middleton usually spends his time. And then we'll go see how many points per game Washington's giving up in that 7-game span. So we have to go down a little bit of a ways here. Washington giving up about 21.6 points. You can kind of see where that puts them toward the middle of the pack, but more toward the top of the middle, meaning this isn't a overly difficult matchup for Chris Middleton. Looks like a pretty favorable one. So we've flipped things over. We're going to look at Action Labs. We're going to pull up his points projections there and take a look and see how many points he's projected for. They got him at 20.6. Now 20.6 is more than 19.5, so maybe we think about leaning toward the over. And then we look at Chris Middleton across 4 different sites, 4 different books, a betting favorite on 4 different sites. Betting favorite on 4 different sites to cover 19.5 points versus Washington. And another way that you can kind of take things a step further is by using StatMuse. You can go Chris Middleton points versus Wizards logs. And you kind of get an idea. over the course of his career, over the course of this season, or last season in this case, how many times Chris Middleton has been able to cover 19.5 points. So just looking at his last 5 games, he's gone over 19.5 points in 3 out of his last 5 meetings against Washington. So a 60% hit rate. So that's just one way, one example, how you can use StatMuse to help further your research just a little bit more, So outside of Chris Middleton, who else are we liking? Well, we've got Mo Bamba at 9.5 points versus the Chicago Bulls. 9.5 points has been pretty easy for Mo Bamba to hit over the last 10 games. 60% hit rate. Over the last 5 games, the hit rate goes up to 80%. He's at 9.8 points per game average over the last 5 games. So hitting double-digit scoring in 4 out of his last 5. Not bad, Mr. Bamba. Not bad. Let's go look at this matchup. He's facing off against the Chicago Bulls. Sometimes it's kind of tough to tell who's the center on the Magic. Is it Mo Bamba or is it Wendell Carter Jr.? For me, as a Magic fan, when I watch these games, I would say that Wendell Carter Jr. is more of your prototypical center, meaning he's going to be the guy that spends most of his time down in the paint. He's down there doing all the dirty work, pulling in the rebounds, blocking shots and stuff like that, while Mo Bamba, being the longer, taller, but more frail of the two guys, we'll say, not as physical in terms of his play style. He likes to sit out there, shoot 3 balls, shoot jump shots. He's playing more away from the basket. So he's kind of like a stretch 4 for Orlando. And then Wendell Carter Jr., kind of more of your back to the basket, more of your prototype center. So we'll look at both positions, though, and see how Chicago has fared against opposing centers in the last 7 games. In the points category. So they're giving up about 22 real life points per game to the center position. You can see where that puts them kind of in the middle of the pack. Pretty good average though, pretty good average. And then the power forward spot, which is again kind of where I would put Mo Bamba. They're giving up about 20.3 points per game. So again, sort of just a middle of the pack average team when it comes to points allowed to both power forwards and center. So I would say that there's some upside here for both Mo Bamba and Wendell Carter Jr. Now, taking a look at Mo Bamba's projection here, got him projected for 11.7 points. That's nearly 12 points if we round it up. Good number. That puts him up above 9.5 by over 2 points. Then we look across the board here, some value possibly, some possible value here on PrizePicks. He's at 9.5 points on PrizePicks, 9.5 points on 3 out of 4 popular sports books, but one book has him as high as 10.5 points, meaning they think there's 10 to 11 point upside here for Mo Bamba, which would be great for us if he hit 10 or 11 and we took the over at 9.5. That means we're going to cash money, right? So maybe Mo Bamba is worth looking into. Now, I told you we would talk some Wendell Carter Jr. And like I said, if you follow me on Twitter at Curry the Creator, you probably saw my tweet last night talking Wendell Carter Jr. and his past success against the Chicago Bulls. Well, first and foremost, let's talk about Wendell Carter Jr. Over his last 10 games, he's covered 13.5 points in 7 out of 10, a 70% hit rate. The last 5 games, not bad either, 60% hit rate, 3 out of 5. You could see here back on January 23rd against the Chicago Bulls, 19 points. That was just about a week ago, gang. Just about a week ago against his former team, he drops 19 points against them. Now, here's kind of what opened my eyes to Wendell Carter Jr. Wendell Carter Jr. versus Bulls logs. So in the last 4 meetings, as a member of the Orlando Magic versus the team that drafted him, the Chicago Bulls, he scored 19, 26, 21, and 19 points. He was able to manage 19 points in just 28 minutes of court time. So even if this game does get out of hand and it blows out, like there's serious upside here. You could see how many field goal attempts he's had in these games as well. Shooting a lot more versus Chicago than he does against some of these other teams. 16, 15, 15, and 12. He's at 13.5 points, so he needs 14 points, and he's hit 19 or more points in 4 straight games versus his former team. This is what was eye-opening to me about Wendell Carter Jr. Now, another thing that stood out to me is if you are afraid of the blowout, Wendell Carter Jr. first half points have also hit at a 4 out of 4 hit rate. So you could also play Wendell Carter Jr. in a first half only format if you're worried about the blowout. I believe he's at 6.5 points first half only. He's covered this with 7, with 18, with 10, and 8 respectively. in 4 career games versus the Bulls. So 4 out of 4 hit rate on his full game points, 4 out of 4 hit rate on his first half only points. That's why I think Wendell Carter Jr. is in play. We've already looked at the matchup, so let's just move on over to the projections. Take a look at Wendell Carter Jr.'s point projection tonight. And we're getting them at 13.5 and 14.5 points out on 4 different sportsbooks. So once again, a little bit of value here at just 13.5 on PrizePicks. Now, if he was at 14.5, maybe our decision would have to be a little bit more difficult. But at 13.5, I think it's easy for us to go ahead and hit the over on 13.5, just given the projections, given the historical dominance against the Chicago Bulls. Let's hope that Wendell Carter Jr. keeps it going today. Usually I don't play into narratives, and this is, for me, less about a narrative and more about just looking at the results. The results are here, people. The results are definitely here. 19, 26, 21, and 19. 4 for 4 in his last 4 meetings against the Bulls. All right? Take it if you want to take it. If you want to fade it, fade it. You may not believe in Wendell Carter Jr. You may think that it's all going to come crashing down and it's all going to come to an end tonight. Maybe it does. But at least we know we got our money in good in a guy and in a prop that has a good hit rate. All right, so both Magic centers look like they're both in play. Let's go ahead and move it on over here to some rebounds. We've talked plenty about points. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for hitting the like button. Swig of water for me, and then we'll talk some rebound props. All right, looking at the last 10 games, the guys with the highest hit rates in terms of rebounds. We got to start things off right here with Drew Holiday. Over the last 10 games, 8 out of 10, an 80% hit rate at covering 4.5 rebounds. And the 80% hit rate stays the same over the last 5 games. He's averaging 5 rebounds per game over that 5-game span. So he's showing a good rebounding upside here. 5 and 6 boards over the last 5 games. So Drew Holiday been getting it done on the glass. Let's go look at the matchup here. Drew Holiday, a point guard. His matchup tonight is against Washington. No Bradley Beal. I don't know how much that would impact Drew Holiday in terms of his rebounding upside, but we go down here and we find Washington. They're giving up the 3rd fewest rebounds per game to the point guard position, 5.2, which means Drew Holiday's pretty much going to have to find all 5.2 of the rebounds that the Washington Wizards are giving up on average to the point guard position. Not an impossible task, not an impossible one, but definitely difficult when a player has to find every rebound that's being given up to his position by the opposing team. Doable, but could be somewhat challenging. We got Drew Holiday projected for 4.9 rebounds today, so they like the over on Holiday at 4.5. Plus, 3 different books, 3 different sites. We're seeing betting odds as strong as minus 145 for the over on 4.5. So the numbers looking pretty good here. High hit rates, 80%, like I said, in the last 10, 80% in the last 5. Projections love them. The betting public seems to be loving him. The matchup, a little sketchy, a little difficult on paper, but not impossible. Not impossible. So let's take a look at some other guys who have been hitting their rebound props at a high hit rate. We already talked Mo Bamba for points. Now we're talking about him for rebounds. So maybe he's a PRA play as well, being that he's checking 2 out of the 3 boxes for PRA. Mo Bamba at 6.5 rebounds, last 10 games, 70% hit rate. Last 5 games, 80% hit rate. He has gone over 6.5 in 4 out of 5, averaging 7.4 rebounds. Now, the last time he played Chicago, pulled in just 3 rebounds. A little concerning, right? Maybe it was a bad game. Maybe it was just the style of the game. Maybe he played more on the perimeter. Like I said, this is why I like Wendell Carter Jr. more than Mo Bamba in terms of like PRA, fantasy points, and stuff like that. Because I know Wendell Carter Jr. is not going to be out there standing at the 3-point line like a lot of these players like to do. Mo Bamba, Karl Anthony Towns, Julius Randle. These guys, 7-footers who are playing 20 feet away from the basket. Can't stand that. Can't stand that. Brook Lopez, you're another one. Brook Lopez is another guy who likes to do that. Anyway, Mo Bamba showing a pretty good hit rate here over the last 10 and last 5 games. Let's go back to the center and power forward positions, and we'll see how many rebounds the Chicago Bulls have been giving up. The center position, they're giving up about 12.6 rebounds, which is the third fewest. We talked about Wendell Carter Jr., probably more of the center. Mo Bamba, probably more of the stretch power forward for the Orlando Magic. So let's go look at that matchup. Chicago giving up about 9.6 boards per game to opposing power forward. So he needs 7 boards. They're giving up about 9.5 to 10 rebounds per game. So there's some upside here for Mo Bamba to get the job done, right? Not an overly difficult matchup on paper. So let's go ahead, pull a projection up for Bamba. I got him projected for 8.7 rebounds, which is 2.2 rebounds more than the 6.5. Now, again, I'm going to strongly advise that you cross-reference this projection with some other projection sites out there that offer single stat player prop projections. Don't let this be the end of your research. Let it be the beginning. Take some ideas away from this video, dig into them a little further, and try to get your money in good. But according to the Action Labs projections, he is a favorite to cover 6.5 boards. And then the betting public taking the over at 6.5 rebounds, minus 125, minus 130 odds. So there you go. Mo Bamba's rebounds could possibly be in play here. Do we want to go here? I don't know if we want to go here or not. He's not up on the board anyway, but KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope at 2.5 rebounds. At 2.5 rebounds, has covered that number in 70% of his games. Now, we talked Drew Holiday already. Chris Middleton's another guy whose rebound prop has been pretty good. He was at 5 the other night, I believe. Or maybe he was at 4.5. Now he's up at 5.5. So maybe we like it a little bit less, but at 5.5, last 10 games, 60% hit rate. Last 5 games, also 60% hit rate. So he's doing a pretty decent job at rebounding. So we talked about his points. We're talking about his rebounds. So he could be another guy who's up for consideration in the PRA category that you guys have come to know and love here. Now, looking at this matchup, the Washington Wizards giving up 9.8 rebounds per game, nearly 10 boards per game, which is the first most in the last 7 games to the small forward position. So I would say that maybe his rebounding upside is better than his points upside, being that Washington ranks first in the amount of rebounds they've given up to the small forward position. So that could be a good look. He needs just 6 boards. They're giving up about 10 per game. So pretty nice matchup. Let's go ahead and take a look at the projections here for Middleton. Got him projected for 6.1 rebounds, which is obviously more than 5.5. And then at 5.5 boards, we're seeing some mixed signals here, some mixed action coming in on the sports books. We're seeing one site where people are taking the under. We're seeing another site where people are taking the over. And then finally on a third site, the under. So money coming in different ways here on Chris Middleton at 5.5 rebounds. What do you guys think? Is this an overplay, an underplay, or a fade? Is it a fade for you? Maybe it's just a fade. Busy Time says it's a fade. He's already reading my mind. He's saying fade. Fade Chris Middleton. I got you. All right. Caden's on the fade train. Carlos is on the fade train for Chris Middleton at 5.5 boards. Gotcha. All right. Roger that. Fade, fade, fade. Looks like it's a fade all day. Despite the good matchup, you're going away from it. All right. It's a fade. Let's go over to some assist props. While you guys smash that like button, take a swig of water here. Staying hydrated. You people should stay hydrated as well. You people. What do you mean, you people? Well, I mean, you people that are viewing me right now, of course. You silly gooses. Cole Anthony. 5.5 assists have been pretty good for Cole Anthony. 5.5 assists over his last 10 games, a 70% hit rate. Chris Middleton also on this list, by the way. I won't talk about him, but he's also on this list at a 70% hit rate at 4.5 dimes. I'll let you guys dig into Chris Middleton. I don't want to keep talking about the same players over and over again, but just for you guys that are keeping track at home, we have talked about Chris Middleton for points, Chris Middleton for rebounds, and I could have talked about Chris Middleton for assists, but again, I didn't. Even though he's got a high hit rate, I'm not going to do it. Going to try and mix it up, diversify our portfolio a little bit. I'm just saying Chris Middleton could be a PRA candidate. That's the point I'm trying to make. Anyway, Cole Anthony, 5.5 assists. Last 10 games, 70% hit rate. 7 out of 10 games, he has exceeded 5.5 assists. He's averaging 6.6 assists in his last 5 games. Now, the last 3, more importantly, have been good ones for Cole Anthony. 6, 9, and even 11 assist upside. So Cole Anthony kind of taking on this different role, right? At one point, he was the gunner for the Orlando Magic. Now, he's more like the dime dropper. Scoring's down, assists are up. Jalen Suggs is back in the lineup. Maybe he's kind of changing the chemistry of the team a little bit. Franz Wagner, obviously, stepping into a larger role. He's been playing good basketball. So Cole Anthony, not the dominant scoring threat that he was earlier in the season. So it's kind of interesting to see this Orlando Magic team taking on a little bit of a different identity and these players on the team taking on different roles. So anyway, last 3 games, he's covered 5.5 assists. Let's go look at this matchup here. He's going up against Chicago. Last time he played Chicago, just 5 assists. Came up just a little bit short against the Bulls. Just a little bit short. We go look at this matchup. Chicago giving up almost 10 assists per game, which puts him right around the top 10 most assists allowed in the last 7 games to the point guard spot. He needs 6. So there's definitely some upside here. Now, I like to look at the shooting guard spot just in case you think Jalen Suggs is more of the point guard, Cole Anthony's more of the shooting guard. I get it. You know, positionless basketball, right? They're giving up about 5 assists per game to the shooting guard spot, which again is just outside the top 10. So pretty soft matchup here, pretty favorable matchup for Cole Anthony, whether you call him a point guard or a shooting guard. Both are looking good. So let's go take a look at the assists. We talked about Middleton, by the way, at 4.5 assists. Got him projected for 5 at 4.5 assists. He's a betting favorite to go over on 3 different books, as high as -160. So, like I said, won't get into that in too much depth, but you get the idea. Chris Middleton's assists are in play. Cole Anthony, though, projected for 5.8 assists at 5.5 dimes, guys. Seeing some strong action here. -140, -145 from the betting public. Those are real life people with real money in hand who go to these sportsbook sites, put that money down on the overs and unders, okay? That's what I mean by the betting public. So 3 different sites here, we're seeing the betting public taking heavy positions out on the over Cole Anthony at 5.5 assists. What do you guys think about that one? You liking that? Andre says, what do you use to look at projections? Well, this is Fantasy Labs. And as a part of Fantasy Labs, they have this tool inside of it for player props called Action Labs. Now, that's just one piece of it. They also have fantasy projections through Fantasy Labs. Now, this will be for your fantasy points props on PrizePicks. So it's kind of a twofold system. You got your fantasy points props covered, and you got your player props covered. So hopefully that answers your question. Anthony Taylor, what's up to you, my man? He says he likes this one. Cole Anthony over 5.5 assists. Yeah, he came pretty close to covering the last time he played the Bulls. Ended up with 5 dimes, but yeah, I think Anthony could be in a good spot here to get it done. What are some other guys that we need to consider? Franz Wagner is not going to be up on the board, but 2.5 assists have been good to him. 70% hit rate over the last 10 games for him. So maybe you could play some Franz Wagner assists on a different site. Jalen Suggs, we talked about Cole Anthony being in a good spot. Jalen Suggs at 4.5 assists in the last 10 games, covering this at a 6 out of 10 clip, averaging 5.6 over the last 5 games. And he's also covering at a 60% hit rate in the last 5 here. So, like I said, kind of a weird dynamic going on. Not really sure who the point guard is, who the shooting guard is right now for the Orlando Magic. To start the season, Cole Anthony was shooting lights out, scoring a lot of points. Now his role kind of taking on a different tone, a different shape, right? And now Jalen Suggs is in the mix. He's starting to kind of come on a little bit. So let's take a look at the projections for Suggs. We already know about the matchup. Suggs is at 4.9 projected assists. We're seeing him as a betting favorite to go over on 2 different books. 2 out of 3, they're betting the over. Now, the last time he played Chicago, he had 7 dimes. So Cole Anthony had 5, went under today's prop of 5.5. Suggs at 7 assists would have went over today's prop at 4.5. So kind of interesting. Might be a backcourt that if you can't really figure it out or get a read on it, just stay away from it. There's nothing wrong with that too, for you to fade if you don't feel good about it. DeMar DeRozan's another guy at 5.5 assists. Maybe he should be on your radar because at 5.5 dimes, he's covered in 3 straight games, dropped 7, 8, and 10 respectively over that 3-game span. Going back to his previous meeting against the Magic, had just 3 assists in that one. Came up short, pretty short on 5.5 dimes. So let's go take a look at this matchup against Orlando, playing the small forward spot most of the time. The Orlando Magic giving up just 3.6 assists, so close to 4, but less than 4 assists. So between 3.5 and 4 assists per game to opposing small forwards. So not a great matchup. Not giving up an absurd amount of assists to small forwards. But let's go ahead and pull a projection for DeRozan. He's showing great form in terms of covering his assist props over the last 3 games. Now we look at him on 3 different sites, 3 different books, -140 and -145 betting favorite to go over 5.5 assists. So the betting public loving DeMar DeRozan to go over 5.5 assists versus this Orlando Magic team. Kind of an interesting play there. Yeah, Nick, I will be happy to take a look at some picks and some props that you're interested in. If you could just hold off on those till the end of the show, that way I can get through what I do here. And then I don't have to scroll through the chat to find what you guys are mentioning, what you guys are talking about. If you have anything you want me to look at, if you could just pump the brakes, hold on to it, save it for the end of the show, I'd be happy to look at it for you. I appreciate you, brother. No problem. I will definitely take a look at whatever it is you want me to look at. All right, so those are some assist plays. Yes, RIP to Pascal Siakam's assists last night. He did not get there. I think the vibe that I was going with from yesterday's show was Fred VanVleet, more of the point guard, more of the ball handler, had shown pretty good form at covering his assist prop. He was the one that I was liking more than Siakam. I believe I said something along those lines. So hopefully you guys were more on Fred VanVleet last night and didn't fall in love with Pascal Siakam, who ended up not getting the job done. He ended up going under, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and switch it up here. We talked about some points, some rebounds, and assists. So let's combine them all together. Points plus rebounds plus assists. You know it is PRA. Let's see who's been hitting their points, rebounds, and assists at a high clip. I'm not going to talk about them, but you already kind of know where I'm going with this. You know where I'm going with this. This dude right here has been getting it done in the last 10 games. Not going to go in depth. I'm just going to say we have talked about him for points, for rebounds, and for assists. He is at the top of the last 10 game hit charts right now at a 70% hit rate at 30.5 PRA. DeMar DeRozan, also a PRA guy who's been getting it done here over the last 10 games. Talked a little bit about DeMar DeRozan liking his assist prop. Well, here we go. DDR at 36.5 PRA over the last 10 games, 70% hit rate for him. Getting it done 7 out of 10 games. We look at the last 5, 100% hit rate. 100% hit rate. 43.8 PRA average. He's facing off against Orlando. When these teams last met, Mr. DeRozan had 49 PRA, which is quite a bit higher than his line today of 36.5. So I think DeRozan will probably be a popular PRA option. So what we'll do here, we'll go back to Fantasy Pros, totally free tool, by the way. You guys can get access to this by just going out to Google, typing in Fantasy Pros, NBA, FanDuel, DVP, defense versus position, and you should get the first link that comes up should be this one here. But anyway, looking at the Orlando Magic going up against small forwards. Let's see how many points, rebounds, and assists they're giving up. 23 points, about 8 rebounds to small forwards, and about 3.6 to 4 assists. So quick math, we add that all together, that's about 35 to 36 PRA roughly. So it's going to be tough, right? There's not a whole lot of upside, not a whole lot of ceiling here when you look at the PRA given up by the Magic in the last 7 games to the small forward spot. So let's go get a projection for you for DeMar DeRozan. We like his assists. We haven't talked about him for points or rebounds, but his PRA number sitting at 36.4. Pretty close, pretty much right on the dot with the 36.5 line that he's at on PrizePicks, right? And then just 2 different sites, 2 different books. We're not really seeing any juice, any action on the over or the under. It's even Steven. No money coming in on the over, no money coming in on the under just yet. So it'll be interesting to see how the betting public approaches this one with a guy with a 5-for-5 hit rate in his last 5 games, averaging 43.8 PRA. I mean, hard to ignore DeMar DeRozan. Said, good morning to you. Thanks for joining. You guys are in on some DeMar DeRozan. Busy Time 160 says he likes DeRozan's PRA. Jacob says, yes, for me, DeRozan. Fire emoji, fire emoji. If you are, Thomas Walsh, if you are worried about the Bucks blowing out the Wizards, my friend, you have first half only options available on PrizePicks, which is fantastic. I've been playing a lot more first half lately because for me, it gets rid of the fact that some of these games could very well blow out. You play a first half only point prop or fantasy point prop, you don't have to worry about the blowout. There's a few things that really could be a thorn in our side as PrizePicks players, right? Blowouts being one of them. You take the over on a prop, which a lot of us like playing the overs. You take the over on a prop, the game blows out. That guy doesn't get the opportunity to cover that full game prop. Another thing that kills us, injuries. Injuries absolutely suck. Foul trouble is another one that could kill some of our entries, right? So if I could eliminate one of those things being blowout by playing first half only points, first half only fantasy points, I'm going to do it, especially if it looks like an advantageous play, like a guy who's got a high hit rate in the first half, like a Wendell Carter Jr. at 6.5 points. Just saying, 4 out of 4 hit rate, all right? So it's just a way for you to mitigate some damages. Just part of the strategy for playing on PrizePicks. If I can eliminate blowouts, the risk of a game blowing out, and I've got a good first half only play, whether it be points or fantasy points, might want to start considering some of those more. Everyday Fantasy says DeRozan good with ball out. Carlos is liking DeRozan PRA. Love it, love it. Brooks, any surefire 2 picks? Not yet. I'm waiting on them tacos though. My goal is to be ready when that first taco drops. I want to be ready with a solid pick to pair with that taco. That's the goal. All right. Who else is standing out in terms of some PRA? What about Kyle Kuzma? We already talked about Bradley Beal being out. Heard some people already rumbling in the chat that you're liking the under on Spencer Dinwiddie's PRA. If you're liking the under on Dinwiddie's PRA, are we liking Kyle Kuzma's PRA at all? Maybe, without Bradley Beal. The reason I'm talking about him is because over the last 10 games, he's covered 33.5 PRA at a 70% hit rate. We look at the last 5 games, a little bit worse hit rate, 60%, averaging 30.4 PRA in that span. He struggled on the 19th against Brooklyn, on the 23rd against Boston. That's what's really sinking his 5-game average down to 30.4. He's going up against Milwaukee tonight. So let's take a look at Kyle Kuzma's matchup here. Typically, Kuz at that power forward spot. So we'll go and look at the last 7 games. Milwaukee giving up 22 points, 12 boards, and about 1.6 assists to the power forward position. So quick math, we'll add that all up. 34, 35, about 36 PRA. So there's some upside here for Kyle Kuzma in this particular matchup. One thing we can do here is go to the PRA. We'll type in Kuzma's name and pull a projection for you guys. Got him projected for just 27.2 PRA. At 33.5, we're actually seeing the betting public bet the under here. They're taking the under on Kyle Kuzma. One thing that we could do to take our research just a step further here, we could go Kyle Kuzma, points, plus sign, rebounds, plus sign, and assists without Bradley Beal. Logs. This is the type of stuff I do all day long, by the way, in Patreon and Discord. I mean, we got a whole crew, a whole gang of people who are doing this type of player prop research. And that's what makes the community aspect so great. It's hard to go about this on your own. It's hard to go about this with a group of people that you don't really know. Can you trust these people? Can you not? At least you know in my community that we're fostering a group of people. We're encouraging people to do good player prop research. And hopefully we land on more good plays than bad plays. All right. It's not perfect. It's not a science, but we're all giving it our best effort. Anyway, this season, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. 9 games Kyle Kuzma has played without Bradley Beal this season. In those 9 games, let's see how many times he's covered 33.5 PRA. 1, 2, 3. Not a very high hit rate, surprisingly. 3 out of 9 this season, Kyle Kuzma, 33.5 PRA without Bradley Beal. So he does not see a significant bump to his PRA hit rate without Bradley Beal in the lineup. So I think Kuzma is probably going to be a fade for me. What do you guys think? A fade, or do we dare hit the under on Kyle Kuzma? The under could be an option too. Milwaukee's a tough defensive team. Game could blow out. If it blows out, Kyle Kuzma won't be out there for his full run of minutes. Maybe you go under on Kyle Kuzma. It never feels good though, because we know that this guy's got some serious rebounding upside, right? But you guys are saying fade, fade, fade. All right. I hear you. Other PRA options to consider: Drew Holiday, points, rebounds, and assists at 29.5. Last 10 games, pretty good hit rate, 60%. Things have dropped off a little bit in the last 5, just a 40% hit rate. But as we've seen in the past, going up against Washington, not a very difficult matchup. So let's go look at that matchup real quick. Point guards versus the Washington Wizards. Washington giving up about 23 points, about 5 rebounds, and about 8 assists. So we add all that together, you're looking at about 37 to 38 PRA. So this could be another upside spot here for Drew Holiday, who needs just 30 PRA to get the job done. But again, we're worried about the blowout, right? Or at least you guys said you're worried about the blowout, which I understand. And it very well could blow out. Let's go ahead and get a projection for you. Drew Holiday projected for 20, let's call it 29 points, rebounds, and assists when you combine all 3 of those single stats. But at 29.5, people are betting the over on Drew Holiday to get it done. Get her done. John Carlos Nunez, how do the tacos work on PrizePicks? So I'll explain the process. It's sort of a new process that PrizePicks has done. Before, they used to just throw these tacos out. And listen, some of the tacos were bad tacos. So they fired their chefs, they said. They fired their taco chefs, hired on a new chef. Now this new chef, he sets up these tacos in a buffet style, a build your own taco style. So basically what they do is this: you got to be a member of the PrizePicks official Discord. If you're not yet, please go join the PrizePicks official Discord now. You can do so through the PrizePicks official app. Once you join the Discord, they will ping, in other words, send a message out to everybody in the Discord. Hey, the taco bar is up. Here are some players that you can choose from on today's taco bar. So first thing you got to do is vote for the 2 players that you like. In the past, it's been guys like Karl Anthony Towns, Cade Cunningham. Last week, I think it was Nikola Jokic, DeJounte Murray. So you vote on a couple of players out of the group of players, the pool of players that they allow you to vote on. That's the first step. Community has to vote. We're voting this guy in. We're voting that guy in. All right, you pick your 2 players. Then they'll say, well, now that you've selected the 2 players, let's go ahead and have you select which player prop you want to discount. So they'll offer you points, rebounds, and assists, all the different player props. You have to choose then which prop do we want to vote on to have that prop discounted for that player. So once the players are chosen, once the props are voted on, then the taco becomes official. And it's just a matter of us waiting for PrizePicks to actually put the discount in place. You go check the PrizePicks app, you go check the PrizePicks Discord. They usually will let you know which prop, which player has been discounted. And that's it. Usually there's about a $20 to $25 limit as far as how much money you can put down on that taco. Each taco has about a $20 to $25 limit. So that's kind of how it all works, in case you are unfamiliar with how the taco process plays out on PrizePicks. That's how it's done. Now you know. One last PRA, and then we'll switch it up here and close this out and then get to your questions. Nikola Vucevic, he's going up against his former team, the Orlando Magic, at 35.5 PRA, 60% hit rate. He is at 34.5 here on PrizePicks. This is another game with some blowout risks, some blowout potential. Vucevic over the last 5 games, 60% hit rate at 34.5 PRA. Last time he faced Orlando, January 23rd, had just 29 PRA. Did not get the job done against the Twin Towers of Power, Mo Bamba and Wendell Carter Jr. But pretty good upside here. 45 PRA, 41 PRA, even 40 PRA in 3 out of his last 5 games. So let's go look at this matchup against the Orlando Magic. Center position, we're going to see how many points, how many rebounds, and how many assists they've given up over the last 7 games. It's been bad, guys. They're giving up, well, bad for me as an Orlando Magic fan. Good if you're looking to target players against the Orlando Magic. They're giving up 26.8 points, over 17 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. So we add that all up real quick, about 47 PRA allowed over the last 7 games, 47 points, rebounds, and assists allowed. Just for you to see a better visual here, the Orlando Magic giving up, like I said, almost 27 points per game. That's the 6th most points given up to the center position. They're giving up 17.3 rebounds. That is the 5th most rebounds given up. So you're going to expect Vucevic to get a lot of points and a lot of rebounds, or at least have the potential or the upside in this matchup to get a lot of points and rebounds. So looking like a very favorable matchup here for Vucevic against his former team, the Orlando Magic. Let's go ahead, take a look at the projection. Got him at 34.6 PRA, slightly more by 0.1 than his line of 34.5. What I will say is that out on the DraftKings Sportsbook, they have him listed at 35.5 PRA. So they must think that there's 35 to 36 points, rebounds, and assists potential here for Nikola Vucevic. What are you guys thinking? Are you in or out on Nikola Vucevic being an overplay versus the Orlando Magic? Let's take a look and see how he's done in previous matchups against the Magic. And again, we'll do that by going to StatMuse. We'll do Nikola Vucevic points, rebounds, and assist logs versus Magic. Got to include that versus Magic part. And you can see in we'll say 4 career games as a member of the Chicago Bulls versus the Orlando Magic. He has covered 34.5 PRA just 1 time. Not a good hit rate. 25% hit rate. 1 out of 4. Not great. And the last time he hit was last season, April 14th, with 41 PRA. So this season, he is 0 for 3 at covering 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists versus Orlando. I don't count this game here from February 15th, 2012, because young Nikola Vucevic was a member of the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was a really long time ago. So we throw that one away. So not a great success rate for Vooch this season or in just previous matchups as a member of the Bulls versus the Magic, right? 1 out of 4 overall, 0 for 3 this season. So that one, I don't know, probably going to stay away from it. Real quick, we'll take a look at some 3-point makes. Let's see who's been taking and making 3-pointers at a high clip. While I take a swig of water, drop a like on this board. Drop a like on this video. You guys are saying that I need to refresh, that it's at 35.5 now. Are you talking about Vucevic? Because if he's at 35.5, ooh, so they actually bumped him up. I might be inclined to take an under here. I don't know. That might be a juicy under now. Looking at the lack of success he's had against Orlando. Interesting, though. Thanks for the shout out for letting me know that they bumped that up from 34.5 to 35.5. A lot of stuff happens here while we're live doing these videos. Appreciate you guys, though, with the support. No, Isaac, I don't know that Vucevic against Orlando carries the same narrative or same success. It's less about a narrative for me, Isaac. I think it's just the numbers look really good for Wendell Carter Jr. versus the Bulls. Less about the narrative and more about the numbers. I mean, the narrative, I guess, would be that Wendell Carter Jr. just really seems to get up and plays well against his former team. So, I mean, the numbers are there, though, backing the narrative, I guess you could say. Anyways, looking at some 3-point takers and makers over the last 10 games, these guys have the highest hit rate on their 3-point prop. Jalen Suggs, not on the board. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, not on the board. Chris Middleton, Not on the board. Drew Holiday, not on the board. A lot of these guys that I'm getting into now are like 50% type of guys, like coin flip type of guys. Let me refresh what I've got pulled up here off screen on props.cash. Props.cash, by the way, changing the game in terms of player prop research. If you want to sign up for props.cash, maybe you've never seen or heard of them before, there's a link down in the description below that gets you 25% off your first month when you use promo code Curry. Promo code Curry is changing the world. We're trying to save you some money on props.cash. So let's take a look at these 3-point makes. I've refreshed props.cash here. There we go. That looks a little bit better. OG Anunoby's prop. 2.5 3-point makes, 60% hit rate over the last 10 games. So 6 out of 10, he's covered 2.5 3-point makes. We look at the last 5 games, he has gone over in 3 out of 5 as well. Still rocking that 60% hit rate. So let's look at this matchup for Anunoby. He is the small forward for the Toronto Raptors. They're going against the Miami Heat tonight. Could be a tough matchup. Got to wait and see who's in and who's out on the Miami Heat side for me, but they're giving up about 2.1 3-point makes per game to opposing small forwards. So not an overly easy matchup. Could be a tough matchup for OG Anunoby. Still though, 60% hit rate over the last 10 games. Not terrible, right? Not terrible. Anunoby, got him projected for 3 3-point makes, but he is a betting favorite to go under at -125 betting odds. So there's OG Anunoby for you. I don't know that any of these other 3-point props are really standing out. Maybe you go Derek White, who's at 1.5 3-point makes going up against Golden State. That game's got a pretty high total on it. At 1.5 3-point makes, last 10 games, 60% hit rate. Over the last 5 games, an 80% hit rate. You can see he dropped 3, 2, 0 against Houston, surprisingly. 2 against Memphis, 2 against Chicago. So at 1.5 3-point makes, he has covered in 4 out of his last 5. Let's go look at the matchup for Derek White going up against Golden State, who's on a back-to-back, by the way. Back-to-back for Golden State. Golden State giving up about 3.1 3-point makes per game. You can kind of see where they rank toward the top in terms of most giving in the last 7 games to the point guard position in the 3-point column. Let's look at the shooting guard spot as well. Golden State, how many threes are they giving up to the 2 guard? About 2.6. So close to 3, between 2.5 and 3. Kind of middle of the pack, down toward the bottom of the pack though. So depending on where you classify Derek White as a point guard, shooting guard, you can kind of see how those matchups line up for him. As far as a projection for Derek White, I got him projected for, well, that's interesting. I think we're going to go with the top one, Warriors at Spurs. Got him projected for 1.9 projected 3-point makes. 1.9 3-point makes. On your favorite sportsbook, betting favorite -135. I'm talking about this one right here. -135 to go over. 1.5 3-point makes. Don't know why there's 2 projections. This one says Heat at Spurs. That's for February 3rd. Wow, they already have February 3rd projections in, I guess. Anyway, 1.9 is his projection for today. And then blocks and steals, we don't really cover these a whole lot. Have never really had much interest in the steals and blocks personally. If you do play blocks and steals and you are having success, drop a comment in the chat. Let me know who, in terms of blocks and steals, you've been playing and how you've been playing them. Overs or unders. You've been taking blocks and steals over, or you've been taking blocks and steals under. If you're having success, let us in on your secret to success. Just pulling up some quick projections here. Andrew Wiggins at 1.5 blocks and steals. Projected for 1.9. Betting favorite to go over, -135 odds. Kyrie Irving, 1.5 blocks and steals. He's projected to go over, but is being bet under at 1.5 blocks and steals. And then finally, the Mikal Bridges, 1.5 blocks and steals. Betting favorite to go under on one site, but he's projected to go over. So those are just a few projections for these blocks and steals. That's it for me, people. What questions do you have? Holler at your boy. My man Isaac saying he played some Jaren Jackson Jr. over 1.5 blocks and steals. It says it is a gem. A gem. Love it. first taco is a Euro. A Euro basketball taco. Nikola Mirotic. Oh man, now that's a blast from the past. I have not seen this guy's name, at least in the NBA scene, in quite some time. Nikola Mirotic, huh? Versus Bayern Munich. Do we trust it? I don't know anything, guys. I'm not even going to sit up here and try to pretend like I follow European basketball. I do not. Have no clue. Are you guys liking this taco? Nikola Mirotic, FC Barcelona. Do I have Nikola Mirotic stats here? Let's look. I need a game log for this guy or something. Well, here we go. We got a little something here. So this is going back to October. 7 points. 18 since then though. 18, 22, 12, 20, 18, 20, 13, 15. I don't know, man. Against Bayern Munich, I mean, we don't have any previous game logs from what I can tell. Looks like we got some international stats. Maybe we can dig in here a little bit. Can't believe this. We're trying to research a freaking taco here, a EuroLeague taco. There we go. Game logs. Game logs from this season EuroLeague. Yeah, no previous. Oh wait, he does have a previous matchup against Munich. Back on October 7th. 2021, he went 5 for 7 in that game for 11 points. 5 for 7 for 11 points. It's a fade for me. I mean, you guys can take a shot on it, but I think that's going to be a fade for me. Are you guys fading this taco or are you riding with it? Last time he played Bayern Munich, had 11 points. Which would be an under, even on a discounted taco, of 13.5 points. I will say, I will give my man some credit here. He's picked up the scoring here in the last few games. Had 16 in his last game, 15 the game before that. Here, I'll just highlight. It's going to let me highlight all the overs here. Those are all the overs. Does that make you feel any more confident? You guys are saying, this taco has no meat. What is this? MF June said, that was me fading away. I mean, there you go, though, guys. I mean, this is going back to October 1st all the way through now, January 27th. These are all the games that he has covered 13.5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 games. He's covered in 16 out of 21. 16 out of 21 games. You liking it any better? Yeah, I don't know where this taco came from. This isn't the NBA taco that I was telling you that we get to build as a community. This is just something they're throwing out there. Kai Ramos is saying, easy lock, just ride it. Well, I mean, it looks pretty good when you highlight all the overs that he's hit, all the times that he's covered this taco prop. The biggest concern for me is that he did not get it done in 24 minutes played against this same team, but this was back on October 7th of last year. Did not get it done. Finished with 11 points. So there you go. That is the first taco. Hopefully this helps you make a decision. If I were to play this taco, I guess I would lean toward the over. I mean, the dude's got a pretty decent hit rate. 16 out of what? 21 we said? 16 out of 21? Not terrible. There you go. I guess I'd have to lean toward the over. Again, don't know anything about Euro basketball. Don't watch it. I'm an NBA guy. I'm just presenting some numbers here for you. This is what we're seeing. Nikola Mirotic, EuroLeague stats, game logs here, 16 out of 25. So, anyway, let's get it back on track here. What questions do you have for me about tonight's NBA slate? While I let this taco marinate on screen for you guys. Pick 3 lovers. You're liking some CP3 under 11.5 assists. Under 11.5 assists. Let's go take a look at it. Chris Paul assists under 11.5. I mean, that does seem like a pretty high assist number, but dang, look at this guy's last 5 game logs. 16 against Indiana, 14 against Utah, 14 against Minnesota, 19 against San Antonio. So I can see why his assist prop is way up there at 11.5. 11.5. He's been getting it done. Let's go take a look at this matchup here. Chris Paul, point guard, obviously one of the best in terms of dropping dimes. Going up against Brooklyn. Brooklyn's given up 10.5 assists per game. That is the 5th most. 5th most. Now, if James Harden sits out, I'd probably be more on the go under side on Chris Paul at 11.5 assists if James Harden is out, because then I think Phoenix would probably potentially blow out Kyrie Irving, Patty Mills and company. Now, if James Harden is in, I don't think I want to take the under on Chris Paul at 11.5 assists, especially in this matchup where Brooklyn's given up 10.5 dimes in the last 7 games, the 5th most to opposing point guards in that span. So, got to see if James Harden's in or out for me anyway. Chris Paul got him projected for 11.6 assists, 11.6 assists. 2 out of the 3 sites that we have him up at 11.5, they are betting the under on 2 out of 3 sites. So, yeah, if James Harden is in, I think this game stays close and competitive, and it would be dangerous to take Chris Paul under 11.5 assists. If James Harden is out, then I could see this game potentially being lopsided in favor of the Suns, and there could be a blowout. I'm seeing some love for some Poeltl. Jakob Poeltl. He's been a pretty good fantasy point guy, a pretty good PRA guy. You guys are liking the rebounds. Been a good rebound guy lately. He's up at 9.5 boards going up against Golden State. Last 5 games for Poeltl, 3 out of 5. 60% hit rate. Kai just subbed to the Patreon. Shout out to you, Kai. I'm excited to have you into the community, my friend. We're going to roll our sleeves up in this community, and we're going to try and do a group effort, a community effort when it comes to this player prop research. Happy to have you on board. Jakob Poeltl, 9.5 boards, 3 out of 5 hit rate. Going up against Golden State tonight. Let's look at this matchup for the center position. Rebounds, Golden State giving up the 2nd most boards per game in the last 7 games to opposing centers. Love the matchup here. Looks like a strong one. He'll be matched up against Kevon Looney. Him and Looney will be duking it out for some rebounds. Let's look at the projections here for Poeltl. I got Jakob Poeltl. Warriors at Spurs, by the way. Don't be confused. 9.9 projected rebounds at 9.5 boards. They are taking the under out on a couple of sports books. Taking the under on Jakob Poeltl, despite the fantastic matchup over the last 7 games that he has. Team that he's facing, Golden State, giving up the 2nd most rebounds to the center spot. I don't mind some Jakob Poeltl. Yes, Mirotic was in the NBA. Chicago Bulls, New Orleans Pelicans for a little bit. That might have been the last team that he was on, but he was a pretty decent player for a minute. Pretty decent player. Do we have Keldon Johnson up for 3-point makes today? We don't. He's not up on the PrizePicks board, but yes, Keldon Johnson's 3-point makes have been money. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. Aaron Rodgers is saying Wendell Carter Jr.'s points look good. Cole Anthony's assists look good. He's liking some DeMar DeRozan PRA. He's liking some Gary Trent Jr.'s points or PRA. Maybe some Dinwiddie points. It's a tough matchup for Dinwiddie. Plus, there's a lot of friction apparently with Dinwiddie and the rest of the Wizards. They want him out of there, it sounds like. Drew Holiday's assist is another one that Aaron Rodgers is liking. Trying to backtrack a little bit and see what you guys are talking about here. Kyrie Irving's three-point makes. There's one that we have not discussed. Busy Time 160 dropping the Kyrie Irving over 2.5 3-point makes. Do we like this more or less with James Harden in or out? Probably more, right? More usage, more shots, more opportunities to pull from beyond the arc. Let's look at this matchup. Point guards against the Phoenix Suns. How many threes are Phoenix giving up per game to the opposing point guards? Got to go all the way down here. They're giving up just 1.75 3-point makes to opposing point guards. That's the third fewest. So on paper, very difficult matchup. Phoenix against the shooting guard spot. 3.6 3-point makes allowed. Much better matchup for shooting guards from beyond the arc versus this Phoenix Suns defense. Much better. 3-point shots made. Let's go pull a projection for Kyrie. Got him projected for 3-point makes, but I will warn you that the betting public does not believe in Kyrie Irving. They do not think he will make at least 3-pointers tonight. So, there you go. Kyrie Irving in a nutshell. Mwande Vumazonke. God, I probably killed your name. Mwande is liking DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray assists. Let's take a look at him. Murray obviously been a very good guy, very good assist guy this season. He's doing a little bit of everything. And you can see why he's on this prop, right? At 8.5 assists, 5 straight games, he has recorded double-digit assists. That's 10 or more. 10, 12, 10, 11, 12. Now he gets a high-scoring game against the Golden State Warriors. So let's go ahead and take a look at this matchup against the Warriors. He's the point guard, obviously. Golden State, how many assists are they giving up over the last 7 games to point guards? Woo, not good. Very good defensive team, which impacts the point guards and impacts the assist category. They're giving up less than 6 assists, the first fewest assists allowed per game in the last 7 games. So could be dangerous. Could be dangerous. But if anybody can get it done and overcome a bad matchup, it could be this guy. Could be DeJounte Murray. Projected for 8.9. Let's call it 9 assists. And then at 8.5 on a couple of different books. You're seeing the public take the over on Murray. They believe in Murray. Brian Benedetto is liking some Gary Trent Jr.'s points, assists, and rebounds. Let's take a look at those. Trent's going up against Miami. Wow, last 4 games for Gary Trent Jr. Hard to ignore this. 36 PRA against Charlotte, 35 against Chicago, 39 against Miami, which coincidentally is tonight's opponent. 39 against Miami back on January 29th. That was like 2 or 3 days ago. And then 38 against Atlanta. Yeah, 4 straight games. Gary Trent Jr. has covered 22.5 props. And not just covered, I mean, covered and smothered, like destroyed 22.5 PRA, right? Destroyed 35 or more PRA in 4 straight games. Loving that. Let's go look at this matchup here. Trent Jr., the shooting guard. The opponent tonight, the Miami Heat, crushed this prop against Miami the last time these two teams played. Miami over the last 7 games given up 20 points, about 5 boards, and about 3 assists. So that's about 29 PRA. There's definitely upside here, and we've seen Gary Trent Jr. get it done in a recent game against this same Heat squad. Does he repeat tonight? Well, I've got him projected for 25.7 PRA, so that's a good sign. 3.2 PRA higher on his Action Labs projection than his line of 22.5. But I will say this, we've got just 2 different books offering this prop. One book out there, he is a betting favorite, minus 120 to go over. So there you go. Wander Lutz says that the taco bar voting is now up on the official PrizePicks Discord. So make sure you're in the official PrizePicks Discord. it sounds like it's time to go vote on some tacos. Hopefully this show has brought you some informed voting. Hopefully you guys don't vote on a bum taco. So go in there to the official PrizePicks Discord. Let me show you guys. I can actually pull it up for you. For those of you wondering, where do I go? What do I do? I'll pull it up for you. So this is the official PrizePicks Discord. You can see under the announcements channel here, they have pinged everyone here. It's Taco Tuesday. The first taco is already on the board, which is the EuroLeague taco, Nikola Mirotic. But since this Discord is 4-0, we're bringing back the taco bar voting for the next 2 tacos. Voting will start at 1 p.m. Eastern time in the taco bar voting channel. Your choices will be Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, Kyle Kuzma, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Cole Anthony, Devin Booker, CP3, and Nikola Vucevic. You can begin discussing your choices in the NBA Experience channel, but those are your options. So there you go, gang. This is where you go. The official PrizePicks Discord. Then you could head on over to the taco bar voting area once this gets set up. It's not set up yet, but this is where all the voting goes down. Okay? There you go. That's how it works. That's how you get the tacos that you want over on PrizePicks. Giovanni, yes, we talked about Mo Bamba's rebounds. We did discuss Mo Bamba for points. Rebounds, I think the PRA is in play for Mo Bamba. Jakob Poeltl PRA. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. We'll make this one the last one. We are about an hour and a half in, so that's about 90-minute mark. I try to keep these right around that hour and a half time limit, but let's make Jakob Poeltl at 24.5 PRA the last one. Then you guys can go start voting and thinking about which taco you guys want today, which taco you guys want to take. So Jakob Poeltl, 24.5 PRA has been a good number for him. He's crushed this in 5 straight games, a 100% hit rate going up against Golden State tonight. We already mentioned we really like Jakob Poeltl's matchup here against Golden State, because the Golden State Warriors are giving up 23 points per game, which puts them right outside the top 10 in terms of points allowed. Then we talked about the rebounds. Golden State giving up over 17.6 rebounds per game, the second most to opposing centers in the last 7 games. And then we talked about the assist a little bit. He's been hitting his assist prop with a pretty good consistency here too. So his assists, or the assists that Golden State give up, just outside the top 10, like inside the top 15. So I would say that this PRA matchup here for Jakob Poeltl looking very good. I think fantasy points are also a good look. Golden State giving up about 54 fantasy points per game as well. Pretty strong number there. So Jakob Poeltl in play for me, going up against Kevon Looney. Smash the like button while you're still here, and if you're liking, the things that we've discussed on today's stream, you can let me know just by hitting the like button. That's all I ask. 24.5 PRA for Jakob Poeltl, projected for 26.4 today. Ignore the top one. That's for February 3rd. Don't know why that's even in there. We're looking at February 1st. It's the first of the month. So Jakob Poeltl projected to go over 24.5 PRA. He is a slight betting favorite to go under, though, despite his favorable projections. Yes, I do have a private Discord for Patreon. What you'll need to do, Kai, is connect Patreon to Discord to receive the patron role inside of my Discord, and then that will unlock all the private channels. All right? Anyways, gang, I'm getting out of here. Go over to the official PrizePicks Discord. Make your voice be heard. Cast your vote on your favorite players for today's Taco Tuesday. Let's vote on a good taco, guys. Please don't vote on some stupid player and some stupid prop. Let's try to land on a good taco today. One that's going to bring us all profits and bring us all the money. All right? It's up to us to vote on a good taco. Appreciate all your support. Drop a like on your way out. We'll catch you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern time, same channel, and I'll be here to help you out. All right? Peace.